Hi everyone, welcome to our new channel, Flippin' Views with Chris and Sue. Again, I'm Sue, and this is my husband Chris.
How you doing?
And we are the Flippin' Views crew. So today we were wondering what we should talk about, and we decided that we should talk about, are you ready to become a landlord?
So let's talk about the pros and cons.
Alright, should we do pros, cons, or what should we do first?
We'll do the pros, cons, and then talk about some of the due diligence to decide if it's for you or not.
Great idea, Chris. Okay, so let's start with the pros of becoming a landlord. Well, the first thing that I can think of is the money.
Mailbox money.
Mailbox money, steady income, perfect. Sounds perfect to me. What do you think?
Monthly cash flow off of each of your properties.
Yeah, monthly cash flow. Every property that you have. If you have an apartment building, more power to you. Also, your house builds equity, right?
Yeah, so if you have it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, it's getting paid down by your tenants and appreciating in value.
Yes.
So depending on what kind of a mortgage or note you have on it, you may have it paid off, and then you've got a debt-free asset that you can sell in 15 years and have all the money. And all you really did is put the down payment down on it and manage it, if you're going to be your own property manager.
Right. Now, what if you're not going to be your own property manager? What could we do if we were like, we don't want to spend the time, we don't have the time, we don't want to be woke up at 2 a.m. every night? What could we do?
One of the things you can do is talk to the tenants if you think they're mechanically inclined, or if they offer, but it's something you could float by them, that if they take care of some of the smaller repairs, you'll reimburse them by taking it off of their mortgage or off their rent, but you have to be careful with that. All of a sudden, everything in the house is broken every month.
Exactly.
So you just have to be wise to that.
So what do you think about just a property management company?
If you have 3, 5, 10 properties, I definitely go that way. The only problem is when you use a property management company, they usually charge anywhere on average from 9 to 14% of the rent. The pros of that is they collect the rent, take care of the repairs, and under a certain amount they don't even bother you with. Other than that, they'll give you a receipt and kind of deduct it. But your phone doesn't ring, you get your money at the end of the month, but you're paying them to do that for you.
Well,
so you have to make sure you buy the house right to be able to absorb that extra cost.
Exactly. Well said. So far we've had mailbox money, we've had appreciation, we had benefits of having a property manager or doing it yourself. What else do we have here now?
Well, you got tax benefits. A lot of this stuff is deductible.
Tax benefits. Who doesn't like tax benefits? Tax write-offs, let's say that.
The government doesn't like tax.
The government doesn't like it, but that's okay. So what can we deduct with this house? I would guess that we could deduct the interest on the mortgage.
Every state's a little different. We work in 2 different states. Most of the laws are the same as far as the tax laws, but there's some variances in some of the things. So you just have to get somebody wise in your area and just kind of consult them. And the hardest one's the first one. Once you get that, you kind of it starts to get cookie cutter and gets easier and easier. You'll start.
That is the truth. I mean, the first one you go into it and you're just like, holy shit, there's a lot of expenses here, and are we going to be able to make our timeline? I mean, the one time we had the COVID interfere into our rehab, one of our rehabs, and that just really kind of spun us off, but it wasn't our first investment property, so we were somewhat as prepared for a pandemic, I think, as you possibly can.
Yeah, and we still made money, just, it took us twice as long as we had noted, because no one could work for a while.
And then
Once they
trying to
come-
find the supplies.
Right, getting supplies. Once we got everybody back to work, they completed it pretty quickly, and we had people actually bidding the property up, because it was the ugliest house in the neighborhood. We cleaned it up, and this particular property we decided we wanted to sell. And it ended up being the nicest house in the neighborhood, and the people were actually bidding up the house to get it from us.
Yes. So let's get back to, are you ready to be a landlord? There are tons of benefits. As far as the tax write-offs, like Chris said, it's different in every state. And the littlest things, just get yourself an accountant. You know, don't do your own taxes. That's what I would suggest, because it gets a little difficult when you get into it. Unless if you know how to do it.
One of the things we did this in the two main areas that we do our rentals. We went and found a landlord association. The resources you find there help you out tremendously, and they're not very expensive.
What was it? It was $50 a year.
It was 40.
40. Oh,
And
gosh.
they have all your rental contracts. They have attorneys. You get discounts on like carpet companies, lawyers, insurance. All that. Everybody advertising. Everybody's in a circle. They all help each other out.
Builders.
Yeah, builders.
Contractors.
Right.
Everybody that you need to.
And the nice thing is most of them have monthly meetings you can attend, and if you got questions you can ask, and it's really helped us out in the beginning to do that.
Always look out for that, because it's nice to have somebody that has your back and that has the same.
We're all doing the same thing.
We're all doing the same thing, so it's like it's a win-win. You like to have a win-win. So other than the property management pros, you know, I mean, you're gonna have to take into all the expenses as far as like landscaping. If you had, one of our properties had a huge backyard. It was like almost an acre. So, you know, we have to take that into consideration as well.
But again, in the landlord association, I found some guy, he had 2 giant 4-foot mowers. They'd go over there, and I thought I was gonna have to negotiate with him. He was charging me $35 to cut almost an acre. But it was funny because he'd pull up and it took him not even 10 minutes. So,
But it would have
win-win
taken us a
again.
lot, yes, win-win, because it would have taken us a lot longer than that. Well, do you have any more pros right now, or do you want to?
Again, you're not going to get rich quick doing this. You're trying to build a nice portfolio, so you just try and add 1 or 2 or 3 at your own pace. Add a couple houses a year, and we have somebody we know. He uses a management company, and I don't know how he keeps track, but he has 230 houses that he manages. Don't know how he does it, but that's his income. He does very, very well for himself.
Yes. So now that we've discussed some of the pros, I know that there's more than that, but we
Yeah,
will
I'm sure we missed
continue. I'm sure we missed a few. Now let's move on to the cons.
Some of the cons.
Now, again, your first flip or your first time being a landlord, you're going to hit some bumps.
Skin your knees, so to speak.
Yes. Fall off the bike, skateboard, or I don't know, is it the computer nowadays?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm not that funny. Anyway, so the cons would be, what if they don't pay their rent?
Well, then you're on the hook for it if you have a mortgage.
Yeah.
One of the things we learned in the beginning, and we did not take this advice, and it did not come back to bite us, But I had two people in this business tell me both, don't buy a house and put a renter in it until you have $100,000 in the bank of your own money to take care of it in case you have vacancies or they don't pay the rent or they trash the house. Those are kind of rare instances to have. However, it does happen. We do know other people in this business that it has happened to them. We did have somebody, they didn't destroy the house, but they were mad, so they made a mess out of it.
They didn't take care of it. And that's another thing that you bring up is the depreciation and the maintenance and the repairs, cost of repairs. They can be endless. I mean, toilets, you can never imagine what people will do to a toilet that is not theirs, that they don't have to worry about. A lot of, would you say a lot of renters, it's not a lot, but some just are like, well, I'm paying rent, I own this place.
That's exactly the attitude they get. You can have 35 good rent tenants, and the one bad tenant will drive you crazy.
Yep.
And here is some advice. You create a contract, you sign it, and do not vary off of it.
No.
Anytime we've ever given our tenants just a little bit of leeway, you move that line, they move up with it the next month, that's where they think the new line is, and they keep pushing and pushing. And as soon as you push back, you're the idiot.
Yeah, that would be me. I was the idiot because I was trying to be motherly.
Yeah, it
It
doesn't
doesn't
work.
work. So, I mean, you're going to have to be pretty tough, which sometimes I can be, but, you know,
You don't want
you're
to throw
not
your
there
tenant
to,
out.
right, you don't want to throw your tenant out.
But you also cannot let them take advantage of you.
Exactly.
And back to our landlord association, I had gone up to the guy that leads it and told him what was going on. Before I could even finish my sentence,
Right.
he said, "Get him out of there, get him out of there," which would have been easy because there's a law firm that works with them, and $25 I'll go serve them a 7-day notice. These aren't the roads you want to go down to, and these are kind of rare instances, but they got their 7-day notice, and next thing you know, our
Money's paid.
Money's
the
paid.
rent is in.
little
Right.
do they know, every time they do that, we have to pay to have them served. They pay for it.
Right.
They find that out in the end, but or out of their late fee. But
Right.
it's a cost of doing business. And the guy's name was Mike, and he said, "Don't get emotional. This is a business. If they're not paying the rent, you got to get rid of them and get
Right.
somebody else in there that can."
Right. Perfect.
In this time right now, there's more renters than there are rentals.
Yes, rentals are few and far between right now. I'm still getting a ton of phone calls for people who are looking to rent a space. Here as well in Arizona, where the market is hopping, it's crazy here. But in Michigan, I've still been getting rentals. That is a huge rental market right now, so you could get top dollar on that, especially with a duplex or a multi, as far as an apartment building. And also, another con that you have to, there are a few expenses that you have to take into consideration as well. So you have the maintenance, which we've already discussed. And what else? Homeowner's insurance. Like, let's say you can't rent, let's say you pick a bad area. So you have to be able to pick a good area, because if you pick a bad area and your property could actually decrease, I mean, you could have just, everything was going well, you get this property, whatever you do, don't buy the nicest house on the block either.
For a rental.
Right, for a rental. And, you kind of want to buy a house that is pretty ugly, and that everybody around the neighborhood would like to have that house either bulldozed, take it down, or, I don't know, just remodeled like we did. And so you have to choose the right area, because if you don't pick the right area, am I right, Chris?
Yes. We're thinking about making a course in the future showing how we go on the land records, county records, and find demographics as far as what people make, age, because there's certain age areas that are better for rental than others, obviously.
Near colleges.
Near
through
colleges
location,
are
yes.
great. And those are the best areas to put your renters up. Especially by a college, you're always going to have people wanting to rent.
Mhm.
So those are some of the criteria we look for, and we've been fortunate. We haven't really had any trouble. We look at crime rates, stuff like that, make sure we don't get into bad areas where you're going to have problems with that kind of stuff.
Yes, you have to do your due diligence as far as making sure that you know the average income, how many rentals, how many homeowners, and just get to know the neighborhood. Just start at a certain area, and like in Michigan, we just started with one area, and we just we kept seeing, and then people start knowing you, and they call you and they're like, hey, this house has been vacant, and it's going to
Yeah.
hell pretty much, so can you guys come here and fix it? And for those, a lot of times we'll just fix and flip those, because sometimes people that do call us don't want another renter in there, because sometimes renters in certain areas are not a good idea. So keep that in mind as well, because that is a big thing. And another thing is the cash flow. You can if they don't pay their rent, what's that going to do with your cash flow? Now the expenses that you have accumulated during the time that they're not paying rent. So that's another thing. And vacancies, like Chris was saying earlier, vacancies could be very costly, because now you're paying for everything and you're not getting any mailbox checks. So you have to think of it that, you have to be smart, but
Yeah.
there are a few things that you have to do.
And again, as you acquire properties, that gets to be less and less of a problem, because if you have 10 properties and one vacancy, it's not a big deal. But if you have one property and one vacancy,
It's huge.
that's everything.
Yes.
So that's what you're working away from.
Right.
So the biggest thing I would say is to do your due diligence, find an area, check out the demographics, find a landlord association, get involved with them. They're great. That's probably the best advice we could give you.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
all kinds of things you can learn, and just anything you need is there. They're a phone call away. They usually will have a website. The leader usually, like, we have their cell phone numbers. They'll call them up. They're all on first name basis. Hey, I got a question. What do I do with this? Because that's their only business.
That's one thing that you have to do, is you have to get in with a group. And, we're in with the group Entra, and same thing. You have to be a win-win, and you have to just try and work together with those who are in the same boat as you are, because nobody wants to sink, right?
Right.
So
I would just say, do your due diligence,
And-
check out other rentals, find out what they're getting per month per square foot, what kind of shape the houses are in, and kind of take it from there.
right, as far as how many baths, beds, if you're going to include any of the utilities, take that into consideration when you are figuring out what rent should be. And also, I would say to, as far as, I just lost my train of thought. I knew exactly what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh, another thing you have to do is make sure you get a large enough deposit.
Security deposit,
Security deposit, security deposit.
A minimum $1,000,
Oh, well,
depending on what you're getting for rent.
see, I would say 2 months rent. First month and the last month. That's how I would do the security deposit. Because sometimes they don't even realize, some people don't know that they're really damaging your property, I think. I don't think it's intentional, but when you go to rehab it back up and do the repairs, just little repairs get pretty expensive.
Yeah, we are constantly replacing doors after people move out.
Doors.
Always.
Yes.
So we just have extras.
So just make sure that you do a good background check. Talk to previous landlords. I cannot emphasize that. I mean, you
Right.
need to talk to.
They did it once, they'll do it again.
Yep, and just because they're looking all bright-eyed and cute and, you know, don't worry about me, I'm an honest person, blah, blah, blah. Do a background check. Talk to their previous landlords. If they don't have previous landlords, just get some references, because everybody deserves a chance, right? But not on your dollar.
Right.
All right. Well, do you have anything else to add?
I think we covered it.
Did I mention neighbors? Oh, neighbors. Make sure that you are in well with the neighbors. So anyway, I think that's it. Do you have anything else to add, Chris?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, we are Chris and Sue. Flippin' Views with Chris and Sue. Please subscribe to our channel and like, subscribe, like. Thank you, and you guys have a flippin' great day. Do you like how I did that?
Great flipping day.
Great flippin' day. Even better. I like that. You guys
See
have
ya.
a great flippin' day. Bye.